Don't place a trade based on what you're seeing in this video because there is no guarantees of making a profit in the market. It takes you a long time to become a good trader. So this video here is just to educate you to become a much better trader. Hey traders, happy Monday. I am looking forward to an amazing week ahead with my trading. And I will talk more about that in today's session. But in today's video, guys, I want to just give you guys a quick little broad update on what's happening right now in the markets. We'll be looking at the indices, the Russell as well too, low cap stocks, and also we'll be looking at silver and gold, and also going to be finishing off with two different stocks that I actually really like. One is a gold stock, and one is more of a technology stock as well too. So I'm going to be covering that and why I like those, and what may potentially be happening with that as well too. So that's what I want to share with you guys. Before I start, guys, if you haven't done so, then you can grab my brand new trading course for $7. You can go to johnsflashsale.com and you can see all the details over there, what you get in the trading course. It's a full trading course, $7. If you're struggling with the trading right now and you need help maybe with the foundations, or you need help with the chart reading, or you need a few good trading systems, or the mindset, any of that, then that's what you're going to learn in this here. Okay, so go to johnsflashsale.com to grab that $7 trading course right now. Now, in the markets, let's actually start off with the Dow Jones here first, okay? So as we can see here on the Dow Jones, that what are we seeing here right now? Pretty much just sideways movement, right? We really haven't been breaking up, we really haven't been breaking down. So when we go over to this weekly chart, one thing that's very evident to me that I'm seeing right now, it's very clear to me, is that we are in a nice upward trend, and so the buyers are in control right now as I speak, okay? And so if we're just looking at the market for what it's telling us right now, we never know what's going to happen tomorrow. And one of the most important things as a trader is our job to read what the market is telling us right now. And when that story starts to change, we need to change with it. Makes sense? It flows. It flows from buyers in control to no one in control to sellers in control to buyers back in control. You know, the ebbs and flows. If you're a trader, that is. Investor, who do? You know, pull back, you know, whatever. But a trader, right? As a trader, we need to ebb and flow with the market, right? And so it's important because the market goes through different stocks and whatever you trade, especially when you start trading those small time frame charts, such as the 5-minute chart, the 15-minute chart, even the 2-minute chart, like I do on the Forex and futures markets throughout the day. That it's so important that we flow with the market. Makes sense? We don't try to put our biased opinion into the charts. And the reason why we don't do that, right, is because that the market is always giving us some warnings, a bit of a hint on what's going on right now and what's happening. So right now, as we speak, what do we see here? We have a low, we have a high, we have a higher low, we have a higher high, and now we've actually still made a slight high low. So it's the buyers are still in control right now. Okay, in the Dow Jones, the buyers are in control right now, and it's really interesting. Now, the interesting thing is this. Okay, I want to see whether it's going to break up to all-time new highs. Now, if that happens, we're probably going to go for a run back. We're probably likely to break and go for one last push back up to that 29,000 level on the Dow. Now, if we cannot, and that's the big if scenarios here. Okay, the big if scenarios. If we cannot break above a high here and we start to fail through here, and then if we start to break down and we break this low here, that would now start to create a lower high breaking past previous lows. If we start to get this type of action through here, then that's when we're going to start to see probably this here being some sort of a left shoulder, a head, and then a right shoulder. Okay, right shoulder through here. So that, I'm not saying that's what that's forming right now, but once we start to see this, okay, and the reason why this is important, what are we doing here? We're flowing with the market. We never know what's going to happen. So if it breaks up, we're probably likely to go for a big one. This is the Dow Jones here, okay? But if we fail through here and we start to roll over, then you say, okay, look, it's rolling over. And as soon as we break this low level, what are you thinking? You're thinking, okay, shoulder, head, shoulder, breaking past previous lows. What is that telling us now? That's telling us now we have a very good chance of getting back down to this level here, probably even down to the 22,000 level, because the market likes even numbers. So probably down to the 22,000, right? Look at this here. 25,000 was support. 27,000 or 27,500 there, right? So, but you can see pretty much 27,000 what? Was pretty much that major support there, around there. So as you can see, what the market likes even numbers. So when we're doing that, right, when we're analyzing this, that's what you want to keep an eye for. Again, this is the daily, this is the Dow Jones on the weekly chart, okay? The Dow Jones on the weekly chart. and we need to monitor and we need to flow with this. Okay, so it'll be really interesting to see what's going to happen here. Now, question for you guys, leave in the chat box below. What do you think? Do you think it's going to roll over from here and we start to head down, or do you think the buyers are going to keep creating this higher low, higher low? We're going to continue pulling up and we're going to continue running to new highs. What do you think? Moving on to the S&P 500, very, very, very similar thing. You can see it actually came down. The interesting thing that I see here on the S&P 500 is that we had this low. We have this high, we have this higher low, high, and notice how it could not close below the 60% level. That 50 to 60% level still held it, and now we're bouncing back up. That's a very strong sign. Okay, that's a strong sign in the buyer's leg that we're doing that. Now the question is whether they can keep breaking up from here. It'll be really interesting to see that. Now, the interesting thing that I am seeing right now, guys, is that we've had a very big long run up, and we've had a move down, and we've had a very big long run up as well too. So generally, when we get this sort of very long legs without any resting phases, we get this sort of action generally, a bit of a sideways movement. I'll give you an example of what I mean here. If I bring up the daily chart, for the Dow Jones, we can see what? Look at this here, right? We had a big run up, and then we had a bit of a sideways movement, and then we had another big run up. And notice how we actually had this bit of a pullback here, right? So we had a nice, decent pullback, and then we started to go sideways through here. So on the S&P 500, I wouldn't be too surprised. We'll go back to that weekly chart there. I wouldn't be too surprised to see if we did continue going sideways here, because it's just, yeah, it's not really yeah, so anyway, so I'm getting off topic here, but the whole point here, guys, is we have a low, high, low, high, low. Same with the Dow Jones. If we do start to break this lower high, maybe start to form a head and shoulder, I don't know, then that's what we want to keep an eye out for, right? We want to flow with the markets. We never know what's going to happen, but the market can give us some warning signs, and the warning sign for me for downside to come would be a breaking of this low here. If we break that low, then probably 22,000 on the Dow. Oh yeah, it's the same thing. Let's go to this. Yeah, I just covered that. All right. Break this low here, 2,800 on the S&P. Guess what? Probably down towards the yeah, look at that there. Even number, 2,400, right? That's where it's probably likely to run down to. And now if that happens, we're probably likely to start seeing something like that. Make sense? And we go into the Nasdaq as well too. Nasdaq is doing a lot of things as well. Let me just delete this here. We are at this resistance level here on the Nasdaq. Let's go to the daily chart. We're at this resistance level on the Nasdaq, so it'll be really interesting to see whether we do continue pushing up. If not, once again, guys, keep an eye on the Nasdaq, because once the Nasdaq starts to break this low through here, we're going to start, or if it does do that, then we know we have some sort of shoulder, head, and a shoulder formation, breaking of the low. That's sellers in control, and we're probably likely to run back down towards these levels through here, which is the 6,500 level, because as you can see, I have a lot of long-term support level come into play around that 6,500 level. So if we start to get those levels there, guys, we're likely to continue breaking down and breaking down and breaking down and breaking down from there. Make sense? So I hope that makes sense for you guys looking at there. Now, let's go continue looking at the other one. So we can see here that the Russell 2000 has already, it's been a lot weaker, right? We got here, we had a high, we had a low, we had some sort of a lower high through here, lower low, lower high, and breaking down. So we've already started this stepping down movement on the Russell 2000, but moving forward now into same for the transports, right? The transports are continuing to what? We're starting to overall step down. Now we're getting a little bounce here, but as you can see, right, we're starting to high, lower high, lower high. This could be some sort of lower high, and especially if this is a shallow lower high, and we start to do that, then it's probably like to break down and then break past and have a big drop out of this. Let's have a look through here. Let me squeeze this right up. Yeah, so that's what I'm seeing through there. So it'll be really interesting, because as we can see here, right, we're getting a high, we're getting a lower high through here, and if the transports cannot have a deep pullback, like you can see here, right, we had a very nice pullback through here. If this is a shallow pullback and then we start to do that and then break, oh, that's very powerful for the sellers, because when that happens, it's saying that the buyers are really struggling and the sellers are coming in really, really quickly. I'll give you an example of what I mean by what I just said there. So if I go to the Let's go to the Dow Jones. Let's bring it back here. So if you remember back late last year, we had this big sell-off, right? So let me explain what I mean here by what I just said there with the transports, right? What do we have here? We had a sell-off, and then we had a good pullback. We had a sell-off, we had a good pullback, we had a sell-off, and notice how it couldn't really, it just went sideways there for a while, and then it broke down. Notice how, what do we have here? We had what? We had high, deep pullback, a deep pullback, and then a drop, a deep pullback, and then a drop. And look at this here, rally, drop up, little sideways movement, little sideways movement. And then what did we get? We actually got a broke down as well from there. So that's actually the sharp pullback we actually get from that market there. Make sense? So that's the reason why you want to keep an eye on how deep that pullback is, because if it's a very shallow pullback, when the sellers are going to come in hard and knock it, when they do, we're going to see a sharp drop in the markets, right? Like we saw here in the Dow Jones, we had a pretty strong sell-off. Now it's not day by day, right? We had a few down days and a sideways, and then so on and so forth. So I hope you can see what we're saying through there. Now let's go and have a look at, that's the Russell there. Russell 3000, that's pretty much doing the exact same thing as the other indices there, and transports as well too. So if we have a quick look at the that's the emerging markets. All right, so in Japan, let's go have a look at the VIX. All right, so we're looking at the VIX here. We can see the VIX is actually still quite low through here. So you know what, forget the VIX. Let's actually get let's go move on straight onto the through to gold. So what's happened here with gold? We had a very big run up, and notice how we're getting a lot of rejection over the last month now around this 1550 level, basically 1500 level. So I would not be too quite surprised to see a nice sort of profit taking coming into here and a nice sort of pullback. But once we do start to get that, then I do believe, support resistance lines are probably going to start to come into play. So that's a very strong support line through there. You can see my Fibonacci levels at 50 to 62% level through here. So we may even just only get a pullback to the 1450, maybe even down to the 1400. But if we do get a pullback down to the 1400 and we start to get down towards these levels through here on gold, guess what? These levels through, if it starts to do this, something like this, right, then guess what? There's going to be a lot of support around here coming into play. So from that there, that's when I'd probably start. That's when you'd probably start to see something like that. And moving on now to silver. Silver, same thing, right? We had a big rally, nice big rally. Look at that big, massive rejection around that 1900 to 1950 level there. Massive rejection last week. Again, this is a weekly candle. So a nice little pullback. As you can see, we have basically this level coming through here. Okay, we have this nice 50 to 62% level through here, and now we can see that. Now we can see what's happening through there. So as we can see, guys, there, right, like a nice little healthy pullback in gold and silver would be really nice from there. Let's actually continue now to some of the miners. Let's have a look at so we'll look at let's go to this chart here, right? So some of the miners, we have SIL. Let's look at that long-term chart through here, right? So we've had a very nice. On the silver miners, what do we see through here? All right, with silver miners, what do we have? We have a bottom, and then we have a double bottom through here, right? Makes sense? We've had what? We've had high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, double bottom breaking out. What is this? This is now a higher high. So this is a very strong sign that even if we do get some sort of a pullback through here, we're likely to create some sort of higher low and then continue up to probably around the $55 level. Now, that may take 3 months, that may take 2 years to get to that level there, but this is a very high probability that this is the start of instead of the downward movement, as you can see, right, we've been going down, making lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. Now we have double bottom, which is what? A bottoming pattern. It's now made a higher high. Now we're likely to start to break back down through here, but I would not be too surprised to see the buyers come back in and scoop it up and then start to rally it back up from there. So very big, powerful setup through there. And let's go have a look at the GDX, right? GDX, same sort of thing, but as you can see, right, look what actually happened with the GDX here. Let me take this off the screen here. GDX, what actually happened? Ran right up to that $30 level, right, which is the previous level here. As I said, that round numbers, if you put that there on that round number there, you can see that round number, $30, is where it actually had a lot of problems through there. It was actually pretty much 31, but you can see that 30 level there, and now it's rejecting at that level. If we have, this probably is the $24 level there. That there, 24 to 26, is probably a decent support. But look what actually happened through here, right? This is why I say the warning signs in the markets, right? We had what? We had a high, equal high, a lower high, a lower high, low. We had a slight higher high. Look at this higher low, breaking past previous highs. Who was in control right here? Buyers. And it ran straight up to the resistance level. Now we're getting a bit of a rejection. I wouldn't be too quite surprised if we saw that. But that being said, what do we see through here? We see the market actually having a nice pullback through here. And then I wouldn't be too quite surprised if we did see that pullback, okay, if we did see some sort of pullback through here, that the buyers are likely to scoop back in on the metals and push it back up, and then probably start to run back up to the $55 level, just like the SIL as well. Make sense? Now, the one stock that I do like is, have a guess, AG, right? First Majestic. And this is why, once again, guys, it's so important to what? Keep an eye on the markets, right? So who's in control? A buyer's in control, a seller's in control, a no one in control, by looking at what? The peaks and the troughs. Because look at this here, right? Look at this here. We had what? Let's do this here, right? So we had a low, we had a high, we had a low, we had a lower high, we had a low, we had some sort of, what did we have through here? All right, let me just zoom this in so you can see it just a bit more stronger here. So we had a high up here, didn't we? We had a low. We had a what? A lower high. Then we had some sort of a lower low or a double bottom. What is this here? What is this here? This is what? This is now a, remember guys, this is a weekly chart, okay? And this is why it's so important to keep an eye on that weekly chart, because the market is giving us some sort of evidence or some sort of guidance on what's happening. Remember I said before, based on the indices as well too. So if you look based on the indices, the indices are based on the indices of what I've just said there, then you'll be able to, based on the indices, right? You'll be able to see the market starting to shift here, right? So we went through here, right? A bit of a sideways movement. Look at this here, double bottom. Remember I said before, based on SIL, higher high. Look at this here, come down, come down, come down. See how this high here, they came in, and this that's actually this here, right? So this was the low point through here, right? And notice how they came in just slight. It wasn't a very strong high low, but still see how it was still a higher low through here. And that's when the buyers came in, right? The buyers started to pick back up through here, and then guess what happened through here, right? It broke what? Broke previous highs. So once we got this weekly candle here, who's in control right now? We have what? We have a higher high. We probably use this high as well too, but use this high here. So we have a higher high, now a higher low. As soon as we get this weekly candle, who's in control? The buyers. Look at this here. 1, 2, 3 weeks of nothing. And then we started to move up through here. And now we're starting to get a bit of a pullback. All right. And so now we actually get a bit of a pullback. Once again, I wouldn't be too surprised to see that the metals start to have a nice pullback. But what is this through here? Once again, I still believe that if we do start to see this, which would be good, by the way, that the buyers are likely to come back in around, especially around that $8 level there, major support, and we're now likely to pick back up and go from there. If that does happen, that's when we're probably likely to see a big run back up to where? Pretty much the highs. And that's when we're probably likely to see, if we do get started this, we're probably likely to see a very strong rally out of First Majestic. So I like it. If we can get a nice little pullback, I personally will be putting on a bit more of a longer term position, not a trading position, but potentially a longer term position, meaning I want to be in it for probably maybe 6 to 12 months, because I do see First Majestic setting up really, really nicely. The other stock that's actually I'm talking about here is Apple, right? I'm sort of liking Apple here, not to buy, okay, not to buy. I'll tell you what I'm looking for if I'm looking to get into this trade. But as you can see here, right, what do we have here? We had a low, we had a higher low, and we're getting some sort of high low here. Notice this $215 level, right? The $215. Notice how we're getting a lot of compression through here. This is like an ascending triangle pattern. So if we can get this, right? So when I'm looking at this chart here right now, I would like to see a bit more of a backing pattern through here, or a bit more of a pullback, a little bit more of a sideways, and then a very strong dominant candle with an increase in volume breaking up. Right, nice little increase in volume breaking up. If we can get that, I would be very happy to start to take a short-term position, and then if that does happen, then a nice break up to 230. That's what I'll be looking for, guys. If I'm looking to trade this market, if we just continue up from here and break up, then yeah, we still have a very good chance of breaking up to 230, which is the previous highs up here. But it's something that I definitely won't want to trade, because it's not my setup, okay? So Apple's looking very strong here right now. You saw what I'm just looking for there right now. I'm looking for a bit more of a pullback, a bit more of a sideways, and then a strong breakout. I don't want this market being, look at this here, right? We've already had this here, 1, 2, 3 little up days through here. I don't want that. I would rather see the market pull back just a few more days, then go sideways, and then give a good strong breakout bar with a very big in volume. If that happens, it's likely to be start of the next move. And then from that, we're now likely to see probably move back up to 230. And, you know, depending on with options, that could be a really nice little short-term trade. So there we go, guys. That's a little gift for you guys of what I'm looking at there and what I'm seeing through there. I hope you guys enjoy this. I hope you guys see this out and you can see what's really going on through here. And I hope you can see that just by you analyzing the markets in the way that we're talking about here, you too can start to get ahead in a big way in the markets. Just got to listen to the markets. And because again, I say this, guys, I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow or the next day or the next week, right? We can have a fair idea what's going to happen over the next couple of years, but if we trade the markets, we need to flow with the markets like I talked about in this video. And then from that, you can start to really move forward in a big way. Make sense? So guys, if you enjoyed this type of stuff, then go to johnsflashsale.com, because in that trading course, you're going to learn a lot of this stuff, sort of stuff, and also trading systems and so on and so forth. So go check that out right now, guys, and I'll see you next time.